Hello, and welcome back to Precalculus. Today we will dive into the first module and focus on inequalities. Inequality is a mathematical statement that compares two values or expressions using the symbols less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than and equal to. Unlike equations, which state that two things are equal, inequalities state which one is bigger, smaller, or if they can be equal. Solving inequalities is very similar to solving equations, with one crucial difference. If you multiply or divide the whole inequality by a negative number, you must flip the inequality sign. There's also a special type of inequality that students struggle with: absolute value inequalities. An absolute value of a number represents its distance on the number line, and it is always positive. We write it using two vertical bars called pipes. An absolute value inequality is simply an inequality that contains an absolute value expression. Let's look at the next example. 5 multiplying absolute value of 3x plus 2 being greater than 10. Since this is an absolute value inequality, instead of distributing 5, we will divide both sides by 5. 5 and 5 gets cancelled, and we're left with absolute value of 3x plus 2 being greater than 10 divided by 5 is 2. Now, if you remember, absolute value is always positive, which means that whatever is inside of the absolute value symbols can be both positive and negative. And for that reason, we must divide this absolute value inequality into two inequalities. The first one with positive 3x plus 2 being greater than 2, and the second one with negative 3x plus 2 being greater than 2. The first one we solve as a regular inequality by subtracting 2 from both sides first, and we're left with 3x being greater than 0. Our next step would be dividing by 3 both sides, and again 3 and 3 gets cancelled, so we're left with x is being greater than 0. To solve the second inequality, we must multiply both sides by -1 to get rid of the minus. And if you remember, when we multiply or divide the whole inequality by a negative number, we must flip the inequality sign, which gives us 3x plus 2 being less than -2. Again, this is a regular inequality, so we just subtract 2 from both sides, and we will get 3x is less than -4. The next step is dividing both sides by 3, which will give us x is less than -4/3. If we want to represent our solution on the number line, first we need a number line with marked 0 in the middle. Since our solutions are x greater than 0 and x less than -4/3, we need to find both 0 and -4/3 on the number line. 0 we already have, so we will just mark it. And -4/3 is equal to -1 whole and 1/3. So we will find -1 and -2 on our number line and divide the space between -1 and -2 into thirds. After the first third, we will have -1 and 1/3, which we will mark. Since both of our inequalities are strict inequalities, we need to leave the open circle on 0 and -4/3 because those values are not included in the solutions. As x is greater than 0, we start from 0 and go to the right. And since x is less than -4/3, we start at -4/3 and go to the left. And that's our solution. That's all for today. If you have any questions or suggestions about what we can cover next time, feel free to write in the comments. See you next time.